मैंने सईदा जी से पूछा कि कैसे बोलें, क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा हिंदी और इंग्लिश में मिला करके ही बोलना तो ज़्यादा ठीक रहेगा। लिखा मैंने इंग्लिश में ही है, तो मुझे कुछ चीज़ें पढ़नी पड़ेंगी। कोशिश करूंगा कि बीच बीच में हिंदी में भी मैं बोलता रहूं। सबसे पहले मैं हमारे PUCL के सभी जो मेंबर्स हैं, ऑफिस बेयरर्स हैं, अरुण माझी जी, आहूजा जी, अशोक जी, पंचोली जी, अमित, वर्तिका, जो विषय है उसको लेकर के महीनों से लगे हुए हैं, क्योंकि मेरे साथ उनकी बातचीत होती रहती थी, किनको इनवाइट करना है, किस तरीके से हम टॉपिक्स को डिवाइड करेंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि हम सभी को बड़ा शुक्रगुजार भी होना चाहिए, उनका धन्यवाद भी करना चाहिए कि एक ऐसा विषय है जिसके बारे में हम सब लोग चिंतित हैं, वो विषय की जानकारी के लिए, उसके बारे में बातचीत करने के लिए ये अवसर हम सभी लोगों को मिला है। जो मैंने थोड़ा लिखा है मैं उसको पढ़ देता हूं और बीच बीच में मैं हिंदी में भी बोलता रहूंगा। We are passing through challenging times. Our diversity, which once symbolized our cultural richness, our strength and unity, is crumbling. What is worrying is the corrosion of human values and the feeling of brotherhood, which unite one with the other irrespective of the differences. Painful indeed is to see the sudden change among your friends and dear ones, speaking the language of disharmony and divisiveness. Who is responsible for spreading the message of insecurity and distrust? I mentioned about the recent study which shows that 1,165 in-person hate speech events targeting religious minorities, particularly Muslims and Christians, in 2024 across 20 states, 2 union territories and National Capital Territory of Delhi. On average, 3 hate speech events were held per day. There is thus a 74.4% increase from 2023, when 668 such incidents were recorded. The hate speech is a product of the same ecosystem that has muzzled dissent, compromised democratic institutions, and affected, on account of fear of persecution, even individuals' basic right to think, not to speak of the expression. People are scared of speaking the truth and insisting based on that truth, the right action, satyagraha, which is recognized as a constitutional way of protest. Our founding fathers and mothers brought the concept of fraternity, and there is a Hindi very good word, bandhutva. Bandhut is simply such a beautiful expression. In the preamble, along with justice, liberty, and equality, the word secularism, though did not exist in the preamble, initially its facets had already existed in the constitutional provisions. It was added in the preamble later by the 42nd Amendment, only to make it explicitly clear. In Bomai case, it was declared as part of basic features of the Constitution. Fraternity, though inspired by the French Revolution, was based on our own experiences during the freedom struggle, particularly Gandhiji's idea of non-violence and brotherhood. The importance of fraternity in the Trinity principle has been highlighted by Dr. Ambedkar in his concluding speech in the Constituent Assembly on 25th November 1949. And I'll read only that part where he talks about fraternity. He says, without fraternity, liberty would produce the supremacy of a few over the many. Equality without liberty would kill individual initiative. Without fraternity, liberty and equality could not become a natural course of things. It would require a constable to enforce them. Acharya Kripalani also gave very significant observation on fraternity. He said, again I come to the great doctrine of fraternity, which is allied with democracy. It means that we are sons of the same God, as the religious would say, but as the mystic would say, that there is one life pulsating through us all, or as the Holy Bible says, we are one of another. There can be no fraternity without this. The importance of fraternity was not recognized by even our courts till recently. In few judgments, it was pointed out that the democracy is not possible without inclusion of fraternity and following it along with equality and liberty. It said that it is fraternity and no other idea which acknowledges that ultimately all individuals are human beings, born through the same natural process, subjected to the same physical limitations, and finally leave this world at an unknown time but are sure to leave. Fraternity as a concept awakens humans to the reality that despite our apparent or superficial differences, ethnic, religious, caste, gender, origin, or economic status, the institutions we create need our collective cooperation and individual commitment. It is essential that for the unity of this great nation, that we all recognize that fraternity is the integrator and unifier, which needs active propagation and practice in tune with our preambular resolve to preserve our republic. Therefore, divisiveness of any form in the polity, social hierarchy, religion, origin, region destroys fraternity and undermines unity. Divisiveness tends to polarize people and is likely to foster distrust. Weakening fraternity, therefore, undermines justice, liberty, and equality. I mentioned about that because hate speeches became a cause of concern worldwide, that in 2019, the UN launched the strategy and plan of action on hate speeches and ultimately launched the Rabat plan of action, stressing collective responsibility and dialogue. However, the acts of direct and public incitement to genocide and advocacy of national, racial, or religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence are strictly prohibited under international law and are considered the severest form of hate speeches. Still, what we see as genocide in Palestine and elsewhere is a blatant disregard to all international sanctions and gross violation of human rights. Just 2 days before, the death count has gone up to 65,000 and nearly 2 lakhs who are injured. Fraternity is the binding force without which democracy, equality, and human dignity will be an illusion. But how can the values of liberty, equality, and fraternity as principles of life find place? And that's a very important concept in our democratic fabric unless we transform the idea of political democracy into social democracy. We have so far failed to do it and are therefore facing the situation which Dr. Ambedkar had warned against. And kindly listen what prophetic thing he said, Dr. Ambedkar. Will history repeat itself? It is this thought which fills me with anxiety. This anxiety is deepened by the realization of the fact that in addition to our old enemies in the form of castes and creeds, we are going to have many political parties with diverse and opposing political creeds. Will Indian place the country above their creed, or will they place creed above country? I do not know. But this much is certain, that if the parties place creed above country, our independence will be put in jeopardy a second time and probably be lost forever. This eventuality we must all resolutely guard against. We must be determined to defend our independence with its speed and independence with the last drop of our blood. This is the resolve which we have to make today, probably at the end of our deliberations. In the ever-changing era of communication with its speed and instant coverage, it has become a challenge to regulate hate speech. Hate speech hurts, insults, and erodes the mutual respect and harmony between communities built over decades of interactions, dialogues, and understanding. Whatever time has healed, unfortunately, resurfaces due to hate speech and leaves a scar, several scars. It needs not only the law, but collective human efforts to convey the message of peace and brotherhood to people. It is a delicate but indispensable task that right-minded people from all communities have to undertake. Mahatma Gandhi gave communal harmony among the people of different faiths the highest place. His book, The Way to Communal Harmony, is a collection of his writings and speeches. His experience in South Africa revealed to him that mankind is divided due to fear, suspicion, and hatred, which arises out of insecurity, whether individual or collective, and manifest themselves in the form of dissensions and hatred on the ground of social, religious, economic, political, caste, and color. Truth being Gandhiji's greatest asset, he felt that a fundamental unity can exist in nature despite diversity. How can religions be different? For Gandhi, Hindu-Muslim unity was the priority, as he felt that if their unity was established, it would be easy to strengthen unity with all other communities. No religion is higher than another. That belief, based on mutual respect, is the key, he felt. Now, Saidaji, I would like your attention because I'm quoting from a book. Chaturvedi Badrinath, in his book Dharma, in the context of Hinduism and other religions in India, has given examples of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans and Swami Vivekananda, who realized oneness in all religions. Sri Ramakrishna, while serving as a priest at the Kali temple in Dakshineshwar, introduced himself to realizing what other faiths, including Islam and Christianity, teach. To understand Islam, he dressed like a Muslim, wore a skull cap, and offered namaz 3 times a day. He even refrained from looking at Hindu deities. Ultimately, he came to the conclusion that all religions convey the same thing and have the same goal, that is, the realization of God. Similarly, Swami Vivekananda stayed with a Muslim lawyer at Mount Abu. A Hindu who visited him, apparently angry, asked him why he was living with a Muslim and even eating food touched by him. Swamiji calmly but firmly replied, "Sir, what do you mean? I am a sannyasin. I am above all your social conventions. I can dine even with an outcast. I am not afraid of God because He sanctions it. I am not afraid of scriptures because they allow it. But I am afraid of you people and your society. You know nothing of God and the scriptures. I see Brahm everywhere manifested through even the meanest creature. For me, there is nothing high or low." What a profound thing. Chaturvedi Badrinath at another place, and he was a good friend of mine, we used to have lots of discussions, explains how the introduction of one word, minority, as a description of oneself can produce a state of mind and feelings of oneself in which there is fear, insecurity, and anxiety. He called the use of terms majority and minority a falsity, which were initially introduced into the political vocabulary of India, but soon became part of its social vocabulary as well. And he says that false logic is at work in India, in today's India. False because those two words as political concepts were unknown in the very long history of Indian civilization, where every social arrangement was on the basis whether it was rooted in dharma, truth, and justice, which are the basic postulates of every religion. He further added, even if, and kindly listen this very carefully, that even if there was in India only one Christian or one Muslim, he or she shall not count as minority, nor will a million Hindus have any superior status because they are a million. A person counts as a person. The very idea of some human beings in any given society living as a minority is deeply offensive to human dignity and thoroughly adharmic, that is opposite to dharma. we had seen once in our freedom struggle the amazing show of unity and brotherhood when Mangal Pandey had raised his voice against the Britishers and the mutiny of 1857 took place, which united not only Hindus and Muslims but people from all religions against the British. A wave of common brotherhood gripped several parts of the country. This had terrified the Britishers so much that they took direct command and to perpetuate their rule, followed the policy of divide and rule, which all of us know. Interfaith dialogues have played an important role in bringing communal harmony, and we have many examples like in Tripur, Tamil Nadu, where Muslims residents donated land for Hindu community to build a Ganesh temple. In Kashipur, Uttarakhand, two sisters donated land for an Eidgah. Muslims greeted a Ramdal procession in Kaushambi, Uttar Pradesh, showing mutual respect. In Sendhwa, Madhya Pradesh, Hindu and Muslim residents jointly cremated an elderly Hindu man who had no family. A Muslim man performed the last rites for his ailing Hindu employer. It is said that the village of Sadhan in Uttar Pradesh is noted for its unity. Members of the different religions live together. Now I'll give you another example of what Rabindranath Tagore did. That is, Raksha Bandhan movement started by Rabindranath Tagore in 1905 when British government had announced the partition of Bengal to weaken the rising Indian nationalist movement by dividing communities. Tagore transformed the traditional Raksha Bandhan festival into a powerful symbol of Hindu-Muslim integration. He called on Hindus and Muslims to tie Rakhis on each other's wrists, symbolizing their shared commitment to protect one another and stand in unity against the colonial power. It became a symbol of mutual protection, trust and brotherhood. Tagore's use of Raksha Bandhan for communal harmony remains an important historical example of using cultural and symbolic acts as means of political protest and fostering unity. Some Gandhian institutions have come out with idea of a pledge for communal harmony, and that you can find in internet. They have said that we have to take pledge like this. We must decide at the end of this convention what we would do to carry the message of communal harmony, how it has to be done, which Saidaji and others have also mentioned. But whatever we follow, we must remember that it is only through the message of love and brotherhood that we can realize unity and harmony, and not through hatred and divisive actions. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.